When the hostage situation erupted and everyone was in panic mode, garbage collector Walter quietly approached the SWAT team. "Officer, building layout is like this. Hostages are on second floor northwest corner. Gunman has 3 escape routes." The team leader looked at him in shock. "Sir, you sound like military intelligence." Walter Henderson, 68 years old, hunched back wearing dirty work clothes. That morning, like every morning, he was collecting garbage on Maple Street. Behind his garbage truck, quietly emptying containers, treated as invisible by the neighborhood residents. At 10:30 a.m., gunshots were heard. People started running out of First National Bank. "Bank robbery! There are hostages inside," someone screamed. Walter stopped his garbage truck, calmly assessed the situation. Armed bank robbery, hostages, escape route. Tactical analysis automatically began in his mind. A habit from 50 years ago. Police cars began arriving. SWAT team was taking position. Everyone was running around in panic. Walter watched quietly, but his eyes were recording every detail with military precision. SWAT team leader Sergeant Mike Rodriguez was talking to command over radio. "Sir, building not secured, hostage count unknown, gunman position unclear." Walter, with his hunched back, approached Rodriguez. "Officer, I can help." Rodriguez turned angrily. "Sir, step away from the crime scene. Civilian access is prohibited." "I know the building layout," Walter said calmly. "This is my daily route. I know every corner." Rodriguez paused. The authoritative tone in the old man's voice caught his attention. "Hostages are on the second floor, northwest corner," Walter continued. "Vault access is from there. Gunmen probably took position in the security office. 3 escape routes, main entrance, back door, and roof access emergency exit." Rodriguez's eyes widened. "Sir, you sound like military intelligence." Walter quietly showed the faded tattoo on his arm. 1st Cavalry Division. Vietnam, 1968 to 1971. At that moment, Rodriguez's breath caught. The 1st Cavalry Division was one of Vietnam's legendary units. "Sir," Rodriguez said respectfully, "we need your help." Walter approached the tactical board where the SWAT team had gathered. Building blueprints showed the bank structure. "Main entrance is here," Walter said, pointing on the plan with his finger. "But the gunman knows this. He'll make it a trap. Back entrance is safer, but there's a narrow hallway, high ambush risk." SWAT officer Tom Blake looked suspicious. "Sir, with all due respect, this is professional tactical analysis. You sure you're just—" "A garbage collector," Walter said calmly. "Yes, but before that, I was a military intelligence officer, reconnaissance specialist in the 23rd Infantry Division." Rodriguez asked curiously, "What was your MOS code, sir?" 35F intelligence analyst, specialized in urban warfare tactics and enemy position identification." Blake's mouth fell open. 35 FMOS was one of the most elite specializations in military intelligence. Walter continued, "I've been seeing this building every day for 15 years. Security camera locations, employee entrance patterns, escape route possibilities. I know them all." A voice came over the radio. "Rodriguez, hostage count confirmed at 7 people. Gunman demands unknown, attempting to establish communication." Walter paused. "You don't need to establish communication. I know what he wants." "How?" Rodriguez asked. "Because this is the 3rd attempt. I observed the first 2 as well. Same modus operandi, same timing pattern." All SWAT team members were now focused on Walter. "First attempt 3 months ago at 10:15, during security guard shift change. Failed because backup arrived too fast. Second attempt 6 weeks ago, again at 10:30. Different approach, vault access denied, fled through roof. This 3rd attempt, timing is perfect, and he learned from those previous mistakes." Rodriguez looked at him with admiration. "Sir, You've been conducting surveillance without realizing it. Walter smiled slightly. Old habits die hard. Being an intelligence officer is like smoking after cancer. You can't quit. Walter approached the tactical board and began drawing a detailed plan. Gunman position here, security office, hostages in northwest corner, 20 meters from vault, escape route priority, roof access. Sir, Rodriguez said, how can you be so certain? Walter, quietly, because if I were him, I'd use the same strategy. In urban combat, high ground control is priority, multiple exit routes are essential. Blake asked, what about entry strategy? Walter moved his finger across the building plan. Entry from basement level. Maintenance tunnel connected to neighboring building. Built in the 1970s, not in city records because it was unofficial construction. How do you know about the unofficial tunnel? Because I was a tunnel warfare specialist in Vietnam, underground network detection and utilization expertise. Rodriguez got excited. Sir, can you guide us through? Walter paused. Officer, I'm 68 years old. I can't take a combat role, but I can provide tactical guidance. That's all we need. Walter took the radio, speaking in a professional voice. Alpha team, basement entry, 2-man formation. Bravo team, roof position for escape route coverage. Charlie team, main entrance diversion. Rodriguez looked amazed. Sir, you're giving tactical commands like a commanding officer? Because I was one for 3 years, lieutenant colonel rank, field operations. Everyone on the SWAT team respectfully straightened up. Lieutenant colonel was a major leadership position in military hierarchy. Sir, Blake said, giving a military salute. Walter smiled. At ease, son. We have hostages to save. Walter was brought into the SWAT command vehicle. He was coordinating radio communications, back in tactical command position after 50 years. Alpha team, basement entry successful, tunnel access confirmed, moving to position. Bravo team, roof secured, escape route coverage active. Charlie team, diversion ready, awaiting command. Walter was visualizing the building layout in his mind, the transition from Vietnam jungle warfare to urban combat, but the principles were the same. Know your terrain, predict enemy movement, protect civilian lives. Alpha team, hostage location visual confirmed. 7 civilians, 1 gunman, armed with handgun, no explosives detected. Walter took the radio. Alpha team, approach pattern Delta 7, slow advance, minimal noise. Gunman's attention span is 30-second intervals. Rodriguez asked curiously, how do you know the attention span? Because stress-induced hypervigilance patterns are universal. What I learned in Vietnam is still applicable today. Alpha team, 10 meters to target, ready for engagement. Walter. Wait for my signal. Charlie team, diversion now. A distraction was created at the main entrance. The gunman's attention shifted to the front entrance. Alpha team, go, go, go. The operation was perfectly executed. Hostages were safely rescued. Gunmen neutralized. 0 casualties. Walter quietly left the command vehicle and walked toward his garbage truck. Sir, Rodriguez called out, where are you going? My work shift isn't over yet, Walter said. The garbage needs to be collected. News of the operation spread through the neighborhood. At first, nobody believed Walter's role. Garbage collector Walter? That old guy? Impossible, said neighborhood resident Janet Mitchell. But when SWAT team members started telling the story, the neighborhood was shocked. We've had a living legend among us for 15 years, said corner store owner Mr. Chen. Local news reporter Sarah Williams wanted to interview Walter, but Walter quietly refused. I did what was necessary, nothing more. But now the neighborhood looked at Walter with different eyes. Every morning when he collected garbage, they respectfully greeted him. "Morning, Mr. Walter." Children no longer shouted "smelly old man" behind him. Instead, they pointed and said, "That's the hero man." Walter noticed this change, but quietly continued his work. He didn't want fame, just a peaceful retirement. Rodriguez often stopped by to have coffee with Walter. "Sir, why garbage collection? Why not security consultant or military contractor?" Walter thoughtfully, "After war, normal life becomes precious. Simple work, simple routine, simple peace. But your skills? I use my skills when I have to use them, but I prefer never having to use them." A few weeks later, FBI agent David Morrison visited Walter. "Mr. Henderson, your military records indicate extraordinary service. Purple Heart, Bronze Star, Commendation Medal." Walter: "Agent Morrison, I didn't come here after retirement for fame." "Sir, it's not about fame. Your tactical analysis yesterday, textbook level. We need consultants with your expertise." Walter quietly: "I'm 68 years old. My combat days are behind me." "Not combat, sir. Training. Young officers need to learn urban warfare tactics from real experience." Walter considered this. "Part-time consulting?" "Exactly. Share knowledge, save lives, shape the future." Walter agreed, but with a condition. Morning garbage route continues. Afternoon consulting. Deal. Deal. Months later, Walter began working as both a garbage collector and tactical consultant. He gave guest lectures at the police academy. The first rule of urban warfare: know your environment better than the enemy knows theirs. Students found Walter's stories fascinating. Parallels from Vietnam jungle tactics to modern city combat. "Sir," a student asked, "what's the most important skill for combat?" Walter thoughtfully: "Patience. Rushing kills people. Observe, analyze, then act." "What about courage?" "Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is doing what's right despite fear." A year later, a small ceremony was organized in the neighborhood for community hero recognition. Walter didn't want it, but Rodriguez insisted, "Sir, the community needs to honor you." At the ceremony, Mayor Jennifer Walsh spoke. "Mr. Walter Henderson, 15 years among us, silently serving. We never knew we lived next to a legend." When Walter approached the microphone, his voice was quiet but clear. "I'm not a hero. Heroes are the people who died protecting others. I'm just a survivor who tries to use his experience for good. War taught me that life is precious. Every person matters. When I see danger, I cannot walk away. Garbage collection taught me that every job is dignified. Service comes in many forms: protecting community, feeding family, cleaning streets, all service." The audience was deeply moved. Walter's humility and wisdom combined created a powerful message. Young neighbor boy Michael raised his hand. "Mr. Walter, will you teach us to be brave?" Walter smiled. "Bravery is not about fighting. Bravery is about standing up for what's right, helping people who need help, and never giving up on your community. Even if people don't notice? Especially if people don't notice. The best service is service no one sees." The ceremony ended. Walter quietly returned to his daily routine. But now the neighborhood knew. Real heroes don't need recognition. They just need the opportunity to serve. Today, Walter still collects garbage every morning. But in the afternoons, he teaches urban warfare tactics to young officers at the police academy. His garbage route became an unofficial security patrol. Walter knows every resident, every routine, every potential threat. The neighborhood feels safe because they know Walter is watching over them. He tells stories to local kids. Real strength is not about muscles or weapons. Real strength is about protecting people who cannot protect themselves. The lessons he learned in Vietnam, he applies in his peaceful neighborhood. Vigilance, service, humility. Walter Henderson, garbage collector. Walter Henderson, hero. Walter Henderson, the guardian angel his neighborhood knows about but never brags about. Because true warriors understand, the greatest victory is peace.